The housing market, it's shifting in ways no one expected. What happens in 2025 could redefine how families and individuals want to buy a piece of real estate. And like anything in life, there's going to be winners and there's going to be losers. So let's dive in right now for my predictions of 2025.
But Zillow is sticking with its optimistic 2025 housing forecast right now.
The question of the $1 million for this year is, should you really buy a house? Should you continue to be a renter? Should you stay in the house that you have with a low interest rate because you were able to refinance your property back in the days when interest rates were 3 and 4%? What you should do in 2025? If you've been dreaming about moving into this bigger home, is now the time to do it or not? So I came across this article that actually talks about really good stuff, and it says is, should you buy a house in 2025? Let me read you some points that I think are very interesting from this article to consider for everybody. Point number one is current rates. Like mortgage rate trends for 2025 are going to be, the current rates are probably going to stay where they have been for the most part. Now, a lot of people keep asking me, hey, Robert, I hear that the Federal Reserve made a couple adjustments and cuts in 2024. Yes, they did. But some of those cuts actually did the opposite. What they did is they actually sent the interest rates back up again instead of bringing them down, because investors already took that into consideration. And remember, interest rates is an emotional reaction to how the market reacts. But I think what we're going to see is we're going to probably see interest rates continue to be where they have been on the high mark. And maybe my prediction is that it's going to be between 6.5 and 7.5. They're going to continue to bounce up and down. Although the article says that maybe we're going to be under 7, but I think there's going to continue to bounce up and down between 6.5 and 7.5. Some changes expected. A new administration is probably going to force more cuts into this year, and that is potentially what can see, and maybe bringing interest rates around 6% is the dream that everybody's been waiting for, because buyers will continue to buy with a lower rate, but people that bought with the 7 and 8 or 9% interest rates could be able to refinance. So this can be a big boost for the lending industry if rates come down and people are able to refinance. Another thing is the impact on affordability. There's going to be certain people that have been left out of the market. With interest rates coming down, this definitely is going to help many buyers. And really, the most important thing here, it is, where are we heading with a lot of these things? Is it really going to make a lot of sense for people to buy, or maybe not? Let me know here in the comments if a 6% interest rate or a 5% interest rate, you as a potential buyer, is it going to make you jump into these waters of navigating real estate, and you potentially can be one of the winners of this new market in 2025, or you still want to kind of sit on the fence and wait for more? Be curious to know. So I previously made a video about this article from Redfin that talks about United States becoming a renter nation. But the most important thing here is the price index for this article, that it actually talks, that it says that sellers are going to be the winners of this because prices will continue to go up. This is according to Q1, Q2, Q3, and Q4 of 2025. Prices will continue to go up. So that's good news for sellers. Is it good news for a buyer? Probably not. But here's when it can be a good news for a buyer. If interest rates start to come down close to that 6% or even a little bit lower, that is where it can be potentially good news for buyers, because monthly payments can potentially adjust slightly to be more comfortable for a home purchaser. But it all has to do with supply and demand. So big winners are going to be potentially, home sellers in certain parts of the country. Big losers can potentially be some home buyers, especially in challenging and demanding markets like Bethesda, Maryland, Potomac, Maryland, Chevy Chase, Maryland, Washington, D.C., Northern Virginia, Los Angeles, maybe downtown New York City, and some of these areas where demand is so high. That's when you can potentially see. But maybe if you're thinking about buying a second home and you're going to go buy something in Orlando or Miami, maybe you can be a winner under that strategy, because there's going to be a lot of properties that you can buy. So I think a nice increase in the inventory can definitely help some home buyers out there. Even if interest rates come down, if we see an increase in inventory, I think that will be a very nice thing. I think buyers will be the winners on an increase on inventory, not much as sellers, because some sellers will have to now start to compete and prepare their homes so that they can actually sell for top dollar. Now, inventory has been coming up and up and up, that's for sure, but I don't think there is enough inventory to fulfill the demand, how hungry buyers have been for real estate, especially because some buyers have now become investors. I have many of my clients that bought homes prior to 2020 and now they're becoming investors. So they are buying more homes. So that makes it a little bit more competitive for first time home buyers. Of course, you go always going to have seasonal considerations, right? Right now, here in Montgomery County, Maryland, with a couple inches of snow on the ground, yeah, the market is probably not the best. So somebody that listed their home right around Thanksgiving and of last year and the house still on the market, maybe this is a great opportunity to come over and grab that house for 5% less than what when it was listed, or maybe 10% less. It all depends how it was priced, but this could be a potential good time to get a good deal out there. I think that, in my opinion, we will see an increase in inventory. This is going to be depending on location and pocket areas. It's not going to be all across the nation. There's certain markets that are going to continue to be competitive. So in those areas, I think sellers may not be the winners, but at a slight increase, we're probably talking somewhere between 3 and 5% increase on inventory, maybe up to 10%. It's still not a big thing here because there's still enough demand. There are buyers that are out there buying cash. There are homes that are coming on the market that my understanding is there's still people looking to buy these homes immediately, even before they hit the market. There is that inventory that never makes it up to the market because the next door neighbor just learned that Mary and Joe are retiring and moving out of the house, and they wanted to buy the property, so they skipped the entire real estate process by hiring a real estate agent and just going and selling the house on their own. So there's so many options out there that I don't think we are able to know the details, but definitely there's a lot of stuff that it's happening where a lot of these transactions are not necessarily make it to the MLS, but they're taking place. So, in other words, it's going to be an increase, but not significant enough to send us to what we is called a buyer's market. So sellers continue to be winners. Buyers in some areas will be winners, and other areas maybe not quite winners. So my next point is about projections and prices. Okay, I just touch about that a little bit, but we're going to touch now where I think things are going to be. Now, I have brought up to you already two different articles. One from Redfin that it says that maybe the appreciation in Q1, Q2, 3, and 4 of this year is going to be about 4%. Now, if we go to CoreLogic, this is this website that it gives a lot of great data for insight of what's happening in certain areas. They're a little bit more conservative. They're only calling about 2.3% increase in home prices. Again, sellers continue to be winners, but I think now buyers are starting to be more of those winners that are going to be able to get a property at the right place, location, and school district, and so on. You see, housing is about location, housing is about the amenities that a property can offer you, and also about how comfortable you feel with a monthly payment. So I think a lot of people are going to be willing to sacrifice certain things in order to make sure they can stay in the neighborhood they want to be, because for whatever reason, that's what it is. Now, variations are going to happen. Of course, that's going to vary by region. Not every area is going to be the same. And I think that it's investors will continue to grow. And my I think is that at least here in the Washington D.C. metro area, I think that 4% from Redfin, I think it's more accurate. This 2.3 is more at the national level, where I think that is probably going to be the case. So does it mean that it's 2025, the tipping point of the price increases of the real estate, and that means that prices are going to come down in 2026? Who knows? Too early to say. We haven't even started the spring market in 2025, but could be an indication, right? Like anything in life, everything has to go up, it has to come down at some point. We just have not seen any depreciation in real estate in a long time, so that it just feels like it's a foreign language to some sellers right now. And a seller that sold 3 years ago that got 10 offers, maybe in 2024 the same seller could potentially only get 4 offers, and maybe this year they're only going to get 1 offer. Doesn't mean the next year they're not going to get an offer, and it's going to sit on the market. And this has to do a lot with pricing. You see, the pricing is very important in real estate. It has to do with location and a lot of those things, but pricing is very important. So this is where I like to educate people to understand price bracketing, just to make sure that the house that people like, the house that they are looked at, it is something that it aligns with the market trends, market conditions, and everything that is happening in that neighborhood. So we'll see. What is your prediction? Do you think the Redfin with a 4% is more accurate, or CoreLogic, it's more in line with the 2.3%? There's not a big difference in both of them, but it's at the end of the day, at 1.7% on a seller's pocket, it's a big difference. 1.7% more coming out of a buyer's pocket, it's a big difference in terms of pricing. So, and this is assuming there is not going to be multiple offers. Now, if there's multiple offers, these two numbers are going to have to be thrown away into the trash can, because it just doesn't make any sense, right? It's going to be higher. So let me know. So where do we go from here? Okay, this is the thing is how ready you are to buy a house. It's very important, in my opinion. This is the most important thing that you can always have to keep in mind, how ready you are to make that purchase. So here are the 5 potential scenarios that you could see coming into 2025. This is again another great article, and I put the links of all these articles that here below. So scenario number one is we see a modest price growth. I just said it before, we could see 4%, we could see 2.3% based on what some experts are saying. So this could be something that we need to keep in mind. We could see a price stabilization. We could just see prices really not declining, but not going up by much, maybe 1%. That minus or plus 1% could be the potential that we may see, which is, again, doesn't make things go one way or another. So that could be one thing. There could be a regional price corrections. And I think that we go down to the south in Florida, we have seen some of these corrections already. So it is not that it's not taking place. I'm sure you go to other suburbs, other areas, other states, like there's some price corrections. Here, for example, for us here in Maryland, if you're buying a house in Montgomery County, Maryland right now, versus comparing to north into Frederick or Washington County, you definitely have two different scenarios when it comes to prices. So I agree with this, that the regional price correction, it is happening. Now, I tend to disagree with the significant price declines, because the job market is still good in some areas. And I know in other videos before, people gave me some problems, give me some comments because they say what I'm talking about. But for the most part, it continues to be healthy. Not for everybody, but it's still healthy. We'll see how that goes this year. So I don't see a significant price decline. Now, what is going to happen is, I just mentioned it, price bracketing, I think is going to be market segmentation. And that's going to be where certain parts of the country continue to do very well for 2025 versus other ones that are not going to be doing that well. So you got to be thinking about that. If you're buying with a long-term potential, you're going to stay in that house 7 to 10 years, maybe in a market, in a segment of the market where things are correcting, it's not a bad idea. But if you only know it's going to be there for 3 to 5 years, do not risk it, because this could be the tipping point of all this pricing madness and craziness. So, winners and losers, that's what we're going to see in this market. And I'm just curious to know if you have a prediction for yourself, what the real estate market is going to do in 2025 in your area. Gosh, just kind of came to the end of this video. Guys, I'm Robert Garcia here, and I am here to guide you through this raw real estate market in a very smart and simplified way. If you find this video very helpful and you like it, give it a thumbs up. Please do me a favor, give it a thumbs up. It helps me a lot and encourage me to continue to do research and bring videos like this. And if you subscribe to my channel, definitely helps me a lot. If you're thinking about making a move and need assistance in finding an agent, whether you're looking to the Maryland, DC area or other places, let me know in the comments. There is a link there to go to my website, where you can also request a consultation or a call with me. Be more than happy to help you. I'll see you guys on the next one. Don't forget, 2025 is here. Be ready. Bye-bye.